Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We have another great podcast to share with you guys today. This podcast is to bring you valuable advice. I'm your host, DDA, and I'm joined with Hope King. She's the owner of Southern Magnolia Health and Wellness LLC. Man, that's a mouthful.
I know. I should have thought about that when I created the name.
No, it's actually a good name. So, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain. Another beautiful day, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, for our listeners, if you're enjoying this content and you want to hear more of these type of videos, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and also like and feel free to comment as well. With that being said, we're going to go jump right in, get to know Hope a little bit. Hope, can you kind of share with our listeners a little bit about your background?
So my background is I graduated with an RN in 2002. Most of my career I spent working in pediatrics, labor and delivery. And then one night when I was at work, me and my friend were like, let's go to nurse practitioner school and continue our education. So I became a nurse practitioner in December of 2017. And since then, I have been working in primary care and created our own business about 5 years ago. Once Governor DeSantis signed that nurse practitioners could be autonomous, we went ahead and opened our business because I really wanted to get to spend time with our patients and not see 30 plus patients a day and feel like I wasn't making a difference. So I've been in primary care and we've kind of dug deep and opened more of a wellness holistic practice. And that's where my focus has begun, really focusing in on trying to get to the root cause of diseases and hormone balance with hormone replacement therapy.
That's awesome. I want to talk about hormone replacement therapy here in a minute. But you said something very important that I took away from that. It's time with patients. Can you kind of elaborate on that? What does that look like?
So, in the traditional model of care, insurance kind of dictates the way that we care for our patients. And you only have a certain amount of time with each patient. And in order to complete your day, they kind of fill your schedule, max it out, and you don't really get to sit there and have conversations with people. And the way that I try to do it at my practice is, and it varies based on what they're there for, but the goal is that I really get to know our patients and get to know their histories, get to know their family life. There's a lot to it and we want to build relationships. So we try to do longer appointment times. Initial visits can be up to 60 minutes, even longer. It really just depends on the need for our patients. And then of course there's some people that come in and they're like, they want to be in and out real quick, and that's fair too. But I just know for me, traditional medicine wasn't working. And, that's why we don't take insurance at my practice. We are a cash-based business, and it has nothing to do with, we don't want to take insurance, but we don't want them to dictate how we care for our patients. I want to be able to take care of the person and really spend time with them.
That's interesting and actually well stated. With, I guess, with technology, with the change in the medical industry, do you see that this is something that a lot of medical professionals are going down this road in the industry itself?
Absolutely. And even, my women's health provider, my GYN, she recently sent out an email to all her patients stating she's no longer taking insurance and that she is doing concierge based, and you will have to pay a yearly premium to see her. And I understand why she's doing it. I know a lot of people were upset with that because they were used to the traditional model of insurance. We still want our patients to have insurance and use it for hospitalizations, use it for their medications, but we want to be able to truly spend time with them. So absolutely, I see there's a big change in this.
It's like every industry is always evolving, right? Is always changing, right? Based on what services they're offering and what the market dictates. So let's talk about hormone replacement therapy. Let's go down that road a little bit.
So that's kind of been a passion. And last year I became certified in advanced bioidentical hormone replacement, meaning that I took a bunch of education hours. Specifically for that was 80 hours. Prior to that, I've done multiple courses in it. It's become a passion because I know that the reason why things are happening for people can be related to hormones, whether it's your thyroid, whether you're insulin resistance and you're not losing weight, whether you're feeling fatigued. For our guys, testosterone replacement is huge. One of my patients told me that he didn't realize how horrible he felt until he started on it. He said he was depressed, anxious, couldn't concentrate. And then I had one of our female patients the other day come in and she's like, "You made me feel like I did when I was in my 20s." And honestly, those results, not everybody's going to feel the same way, but it definitely changes. And we know that women, what we didn't know before, we always thought that heart disease was a killer of men, and we didn't realize that it's also a killer of women, and it's one of the biggest killer of women, and it's a lot to do with our estrogen levels depleting and our hormones depleting. So definitely significant risk factors for bone loss, dementia, even heart disease. So I found that treating hormones changes the path for a lot of diseases and can be extremely beneficial for our patients.
Wow, interesting. So let's talk about what can our listeners that are maybe, experiencing this, what can they do? Other than, of course, they can hire a professional, but what are some of the things they can do to try to prevent, or is there anything, you know what I mean? Do you know where
So
I'm
there's
going with
not
this?
necessarily prevention. And,
Okay.
of course, there's supplements out there that can help you eliminate symptoms, but it's not going to get to the reason. And the reason is because as we age, we decline. So you think about every decade that you live, you're having declining in your hormones. So what can be done? We also know that there are a lot of factors as far as the environment that can affect it. Okay. And that's why we're seeing, men who are in their 20s, 30s with lower testosterone levels. Like we didn't see that before. One of the things that people can do to help is anti-inflammatory nutrition. And there's guides online that you can look for anti-inflammatory nutrition. It's a huge key in overall health. But sometimes, they need to come in, they need to be evaluated, they need to get that full blood work panel, they need to really see what's going on. And then they can be guided on how to address what's going on.
So this is something that can be cured or something that takes time?
So it's going to take time. Am I going to tell you that you're going to be cured? No, because it's not a disease that you're going to be cured from.
Right.
Once you start hormone replacement therapy, and then let's just say you stop taking it, you're going to go back to feeling the way that you did before because those hormones aren't there anymore. You're not getting them. So other things that can be addressed, whether, there's other things in your blood work that need help with, and maybe we're going to give you supplements to get those levels raised up. Yes, those things can be fixed with proper nutrition, supplements, even exercise. Exercise is key for, for midlife. It is key. Strength training. People don't realize how important it is. You absolutely need to do that. So, and that's really just to help you later in life. So that way, if you're stronger, your bones are good, your muscles are good. So that way, if you do have a fall, you're hopefully going to protect yourself.
That's great advice. Yeah, and people don't realize, I've talked to a few people in reference to strength training as you get older, and it is important. And I'm glad that you kind of shared with our listeners that point. So let's talk about, there's got to be a story, and I don't need to know the customer's name, don't mention the name, but there's got to be one that kind of stands out. And I always ask this question, is there one patient, not a customer, but a patient that really kind of was like, wow, thank you so much, Hope, for what you do?
There is, and it's happened quite a few times. And it was kind of a joke the other day when one of my patients was sitting in the waiting room, which I try not to have people sitting in the waiting room, but I was with another patient. So our waiting room is essentially there for aesthetics. But he was sitting there and another patient walked in and he was like, "Oh, you come here too?" He's like, "Wow, everybody comes and sees Hope." So there's circles of friends and then they start referring each other. The stories are essentially, one of our female patients, she came in with brain fog, fatigue, going to multiple doctors and them telling her that she's fine. Your blood work's fine. She did not feel fine. She did not feel good. She felt like she was losing her mind. And when she came in to see us, I took the time, I listened. I have a huge intake that people have to fill out. It gets to know them, goes through all their health questions. And then I take that information and then I decide what I'm going to order for blood work. So come to find out, she had issues not only with her estrogen, her progesterone, her testosterone, but also her thyroid. And everybody kept telling her, there is nothing wrong with your thyroid. Well, she has now been on medication probably about 6 months. She feels the best she's felt in at least 10 years. And she was just so grateful to us for taking the time to listen and validate how she felt.
That's awesome. So how does that make you feel when you hear that story?
I love it. I love it. I love it. It makes me feel good. It's definitely rewarding. As I told you before, I was a labor and delivery nurse in the past. So we always had the reward of delivering babies. And now I get the reward of making people feel better. And I couldn't do that in traditional medicine. One of the doctors told me, go in the room. You only have time to address 3 problems. And a lot of times there's a lot more than 3 problems that we need to address.
Well, Hope, it's exciting for you to be able to share your story, your business, your services that you provide. I know we talked about hormone replacement therapy, and it seems like that's something that's top of mind of everyone, wanting to learn more about that now. Can you provide, as we wrap up, a phone number as well as a website for our listeners to get a hold of you?
Yes, our phone number is 386-260-2653. We're located in Ormond Beach, Florida. I can see anyone in the state of Florida via telehealth. They can call or text that number. That's 386-260-2653. And our website is www.southernmagnoliahealth.com.
I like the name of the website.
Well, thank you.
I like it's pretty cool. So, well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be able to share with our listeners about your business. And we wish you much success, and hopefully we can have you back in the near future.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.